Let's learn about configuring VLAN routing with switch virtual interfaces. This is a typical network diagram of an enterprise nowadays, in which layer 3 switch is used for VLAN routing. Layer 3 switch is usually a core switch in the network that can perform switching and routing functions. Layer 3 switch uses switch virtual interfaces for VLAN routing, which require a VLAN for each subnet created on the switch and at least one active physical interface is assigned to each VLAN. Fortunately, we know that a chunk port is a port that allows multiple VLANs to travel through, which also makes it active on all VLANs. Here are the steps to configure VLAN routing in a network using switch virtual interface. First, we need to configure HO2.1Q chunk ports on both layer 2 and layer 3 switches. Then we need to create corresponding VLANs on layer 3 switch that exists on layer 2 switch. After that, we need to create switch virtual interfaces on the layer 3 switch and then assign IP addresses on the switch virtual interfaces to make them the default gateways for the clients in the VLANs. Finally, we need to enable routing function on the layer 3 switch. To be able to enable IP routing on a layer 3 switch, first of all, we need to configure ASIC setting. At the switch configuration mode, we issue the command SDM prefer routing, then we hit enter. This changes the switch forwarding ASIC setting to make space for IP version 4 routes at the next reload of the switch. This is usually enabled by default on layer 3 switches, and the command can be slightly different on each switch model. Let's do it on IT Life Skill Switch 1. Here we are at the configuration mode. We need to issue the command SDM prefer, then we put in a question mark, and we can put in the option routing and hit enter. As you can see, it says that the change to the running SDM preferences have been stored but cannot take effect until the next reload. So it means we need to reload IT Life Skill Switch 1 for the configuration to take effect. After reloading IT Life Skill Switch 1, we now can enable routing function. In order to do that, at the switch configuration mode, we issue the command IP routing, then hit enter. Let's do it on IT Life Skill Switch 1. Here we are at the privilege mode. Let's check the routing table by using the command show IP route, then hit enter. As you can see, this is not the routing table. This tells us that the routing function is not enabled. So let's go to the configuration mode and issue the command IP routing, then hit enter, and X out of it and issue the command show IP route again. As you can see, the routing table will show up, but it doesn't have any routes in it. In this network, we have already configured the chunk ports on layer 2 and layer 3 switches. Now we need to configure the VLAN 10, the switch virtual interface for VLAN 10, and then we assign the IP address for the switch virtual interface for VLAN 10 on the layer 3 switch. To create a switch virtual interface. At the switch configuration mode, we issue the command interface VLAN, then we provide the VLAN number, then hit enter. It will bring us into the interface configuration mode. Then we can assign the IP address using the command IP address. Then we provide the IP address and the subnet mask, then hit enter. Let's do it on IT Live Skill Switch 1. First of all, let's verify the chunking status by using the command show interface chunk and hit enter. As you can see, the current status is chunking on the port G01 for the native VLAN is VLAN 1. So everything looks good. Now let's go to the configuration mode and issue the command interface VLAN 10 and issue the command no shutdown to enable the interface. Now assign the IP address with the command IP address 10.0.1.1 subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and X out this and issue the command show IP interface brief and filter for only the VLAN interface, then hit enter. As you can see, the switch virtual interface for VLAN 10 is created and it is assigned with the correct IP address. However, the interface is down and the live protocol status is down. Let's verify to see if VLAN 10 was created. So we need to issue the command show VLAN. As you can see, VLAN 10 has not been created, so we need to create VLAN 10. We need to go to the configuration mode and issue the command VLAN 10, then X out this and redo the show IP interface brief and filter for VLAN interface, then hit enter. Now the interface is up, but the line protocol is still down. So we need to go to the configuration mode and go to the interface VLAN 10 and issue the command no shut this to enable the interface again and X out this and show IP interface brief and filter for VLAN interface and hit enter. Now the interface is up and the live protocol is up. Everything looks good. To verify the routing table at the switch private mode, we need to issue the command show IP route, then hit enter. Let's do it on IT Live Skill Switch 1. Here we are at the private mode. We need to issue the command show IP route, then hit enter. As you can see, the host route for the switch virtual interface VLAN 10 is created and the route to the destination subnet 10.0.1.0/24 that is reachable via the interface VLAN 10 is also created. Now let's create VLAN 20. Let's go to the configuration mode and issue the command VLAN 20 and then X out this and then issue the command interface VLAN 20 and then assign the IP address 10.0.2.1 subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and then issue the command no shut and X out of this and verify the VLAN, show VLAN. As you can see, the VLAN 20 is created, and we also see that the interface VLAN 20 changed the status to up. So let's show the routing table, show IP route. As you can see, the host route for the switch virtual interface VLAN 20 is created, and the route to the destination subnet 10.0.2.0/24 that is reachable via the interface VLAN 20 is also created. Everything looks good. On the layer 2 switch, we assign the port G02 to VLAN 10 and connect PC1 to it. And we assign the port G03 to VLAN 20 and connect PC2 to it. For the verification, we will log into PC1 and ping PC2. The frame from PC1 will travel all the way to the layer 3 switch and get forwarded to PC2. To verify VLAN assignment at the switch privilege mode, we issue the command show VLAN, then hit enter. Let's now perform our verification. Here we are at PC2 privilege mode. Let's issue the command show IP interface brief, and then we filter for only up interface, then hit enter. It shows that PC2 has been assigned with the correct IP address. Now let's go to PC1 and issue the same command, and as you can see, it is assigned with the correct IP address. And now we're gonna ping PC2, ping 10.0.2.100 and hit enter. There's no response. Here we get to switch to, and let's verify the VLAN assignment. Let's issue the command show VLAN. As you can see, in VLAN 10, we assign the port G02, but in VLAN 20, there's no port assigned to it, so we need to assign the port G03 to VLAN 20. To assign a port to a VLAN at the switch configuration mode, we issue the command interface, and then we provide the interface information, then hit enter. It will bring us into the interface configuration mode. Then we issue the command switch port accept VLAN, then we provide the VLAN number, then hit enter. Let's do it on IT Life Skill Switch 2. Here we are at the privilege mode. We need to go to the configuration mode, then go to the interface G03. Then we issue the command switch port access VLAN 20, then hit enter. Let's X out this and show VLAN. As you can see, the port G03 has been assigned to VLAN 20. Now let's go to PC2 and ping PC1, ping 10.0.1.100. There is no response, and after this we're gonna try again. Ping. Now it must send the app request, and as you can see, it started respond 40%, so everything looks good. Let's read the keynotes for this lesson.